Hey there, Wall Street winners. It is Friday, May 3rd, and we are seeing some huge activity in the pre-markets right now because of the U.S. jobs report adding only 175,000 new jobs. Estimates were at 240,000, so it is way below estimates, and this is causing the futures market to go a bit ballistic in the green. We have the Dow jumping 288 points pre-market, 0.75%. The S&P 500 futures up almost 0.4% and 18 points, and the NASDAQ up 0.64% or 113 points. So it's looking like we're going to have a very positive start to the day, even though the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell came out Wednesday afternoon 2:30 and said that they were going to hold rates where they were for longer and likely push rate cuts into maybe the first rate cut into the November timeframe, although he didn't mention that specifically, but that's kind of the thought in the market when the rate cuts might start to occur. This data point definitely helps to potentially see that rate cut come prior to November. So maybe we're looking at October or September, but that's good news for the market as a whole. What it typically means is it's bad news for the economy. So the economy, the Fed, the Federal Reserve is trying to slow the economy down without it going into recession. That's the concept of the soft landing that they're talking about. And with this data point, it shows we may be making progress towards that. That said, retail sales are still down overall for the quarter, it appears, and it's a very cyclical or stock pickers market at the time being, which works well for our strategy here. So if we take a look at some of the retail stocks, a little bit of a recovery here this morning in the green. We've got healthcare for the most part up. You've got Healthcare of America up 16 today. Just looking at that and when earnings are, could be because we just hit earnings, but that's had a pop this morning. So if we take a look here, I don't think they had earnings today. I think they're coming out in July. So I'm not sure what's causing that to go up, but we did have Cardinal Health come out earlier this week or yesterday. It popped and then it dropped back down. Humana's climbed a little bit post earnings. And then we have the oil stocks. So here in oil, we're seeing that crude is up at 79.5. So looks like most of our crude stocks are in the green at this point going into the open. It is 8:41, so still less than an hour, 45 minutes or so to the open. And then tech stocks. So Apple came out yesterday, didn't have amazing results by any means, but I think expectations were so low, and they announced this massive buyback. So a strategy where they're really borrowing against their cash on hand and the cash they generate to make massive stock buybacks, and that is going to push up the earnings per share because their earnings are about the same, but they're going to have far fewer shares. So this is a strategy employed by a number of companies, but we've seen announcements like this from Google, we see it from Microsoft, from Alibaba, I mean, you name it, all of the Facebook, all the big tech names are doing this, performing this strategy. And we're seeing Apple up 12, almost 13, $12.50 pre-market. We can also see that everything else is getting almost everything else is getting a bit of a boost as well. Salesforce up $2 pre-market. PanW is the one that is currently off. It was up yesterday. It had a good day, ending at $2.95, but it's currently down 3. This has got earnings coming up in the next couple of weeks on May 20th, and I do expect these earnings will be positive. That said, I also thought Cloudflare's earnings would be positive, and they're down 12% pre-market after announcing earnings yesterday. And because their future outlook underwhelmed investors. So this quarter has all been about not just hitting on earnings and revenue, which they did, but it's also about forecasting robust future growth. And that's what I guess didn't happen here, didn't happen with Facebook, and they both got hit hard and are down. I think you're going to see a bounce back at what's that going to open up at $79, $78 in that range. I think it's a super attractive buy. You're getting in here at a price that it was at coming into first quarter earnings back in the February timeframe when it jumped significantly here from 82 all the way up to the 100 range, 110 almost. I think it's a super attractive time to buy here on this future forecast miss. I think if you're looking to hold something through to the end of the year or even through to the next quarter, you're going to be in good shape with Cloudflare. It could be a 12% pop, basically, coming back from what it drops today. We've got Microsoft up pre-market. We've got ARM up pre-market. We've got ON Semiconductor looking like it's positive pre-market. AMD's making a bit of a comeback pre-market. Looks like, for the most part, everything here is to the positive pre-market. Meta is up a little bit. Netflix, Alibaba is now in the 80s. So it's made at least a 10%, probably 13 to 14% comeback just in the last month. NVIDIA is up another $15 pre-market. And then we've got Google looking like it's up almost $2. So, and Adobe up 5. So everything in tech, and then down to the banks, I'm assuming is going to be positive as well here. Yeah, so we've got SoFi up, you've got Citigroup up, all of these for the most part that I can see, except Charles Schwab in the green today, pre-market. So looking like a very positive start. Whether this continues and holds for the remainder of the day is the question. So you definitely want to follow what your positions are closely today, because this may be a morning pop that disappears quickly or around the mid-morning lunchtime time frame, and then turns into ending at the week or the day in the red by the end of the day today. So don't forget to take your gains when they're there. Things will always correct, and there'll always be a time to buy in at an attractive and price and good valuation. So good luck with your trades today. If you're liking